Right, Proverbs. Finally, I feel like if I skipped a couple days with this whole move, I guess I only skipped yesterday. I don't know, it feels like a long time. So, Proverbs. The thing about Proverbs, one, so far it's my favorite book in the Bible. Favorite book, I mean, over 800 pages, and it's from beginning to end, from the from purpose to marriage. I mean, everything is literally from the first verse to the last verse. So I normally read and mention everything that I highlight, but this would become a very long video. So I'm just gonna try it. I mean, it's I don't know, it's extremely highlighted. I got notes on the sides. Um, it was just really, really hard. I mean, it speaks about wisdom as a being. Um, the importance of wisdom, how hard it is to acquire it. Um, put you ignore my advice and you reject the correction I offered. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock you when disaster overtakes you. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency, but all who listens to me will live in peace, and peace is the goal, right? It's wisdom. This one I wrote meditate right next to it. Tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate. Cry out for insight. That's what we do when we meditate, essentially, right? Um, I also wrote earn wisdom. Seek them like hidden treasures, and you will gain knowledge of God. Um, For the Lord grants wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He guards the path of just and protects those who are faithful to him. Um, and I put wisdom equals him because that's how it's talking. And to me, God is love, God is wisdom. It's God is not a being full of emotions. God is almost emotion. God is love, the most positive, the most virtuous emotion that there is, the most godliest, positive thing that there is, the most beautiful thing that there is. I think that being a parent is probably the epitome of life of the most perfect, greatest, hardest, most beautiful, challenging, growth enduring, purposeful thing that there is. And it all encompasses one word: love. And I think that that's what God is. God is love, and love is wisdom, and wisdom is God. I put wisdom is him. um, then you understand what is right, just and fair, and you will understand the right way to go. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. It speaks a lot about the promiscuous woman throughout the Proverbs. Um, Follow the steps of the good and stay on the path of the righteous. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Um, I put surrender on this one. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. I think that's the surrender. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. I think that pride is a harsh thing, and it's in here in many different words, and I caution myself with that. Sometimes I feel like if I've arrived, sometimes I feel like if I'm a higher level than others, sometimes I feel like I'm smarter or wiser, sometimes I feel like I'm part of this elite group, and it doesn't sit right. It bothers me whenever I think that way. It's like, no, no, and I know that not only pulls me backwards, but it also like stifles my growth. Like it doesn't allow me to grow. I need to be humble. I need to be like a child. I need to be green. I need to be open. And whenever pride gets in there, whenever I'm impressed by my own wisdom, which tells you not to be, it takes you from there. It takes me from there. Joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding, for wisdom is more profitable than silver. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. She will guide you down delightful paths. Wisdom is a tree of life of those who embrace her. And I love how here it's switched to her. And I'm real big on, I don't do it enough, but when I, really want to talk about getting into God, I say he, she, it, because it's not any of it, but it's proper enough for me to say him, proper enough for me to say her, but not a being per se for me to say it, so she, it. And then I double whammy, triple whammy that one, where it has wisdom is a tree of life to those who embrace her, because there's a whole thing with a tree of life. There's a tree of life. Where did I was just, maybe it's towards the end of this, or maybe it was in my meditation this morning. There was something about the tree of life. It'll come to me. But there's always been something about the tree of life. My first book in my mind was going to be the tree of life. I can't be more joyful, but I'll work on it. My best can be better. Oh, over here, joyful is the person who finds wisdom. So next to it, I put I can't be more joyful, just because I'm the most joyful person I know. But I'll work on it. And I reminded myself my best could always be better. I always say I'm doing my best, but I always make sure I bring myself down to earth, realize I haven't arrived anywhere. My best can always be better. To be faithful to wisdom, the real God, love, and wisdom. By wisdom, the Lord founded the earth. By understanding, he created the heavens. By his knowledge, the deep foundations of the earth burst forth, and the dew settles beneath the sky. My child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Hang on to them, for they will refresh your soul. They keep you safe on your way, and your feet will not stumble. Without fear, do not be afraid. Ooh, I got a double whammy highlight. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it when it's in your power to help them. So this one I did a double whammy because sometimes I keep myself from that. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not my place. But I also live with anybody that's willing to listen, and I feel it. That's my biggest fear about going and talking somewhere. If I don't feel it, I'm not going to be speaking from here. I'm going to be speaking from here. If I feel it, I speak from here. And if I commit myself to go to a place and speaking, and if I don't feel it here, I'm not going to be a fool. I'm going to start talking from here, and that's not what I want. And I guess, I probably should just jump and go and speak in front of people just to see if I could speak from here. But again, I don't want to say that I can or I can't. And I shouldn't have fear. It tells me all through here that I shouldn't have fear. Don't pick a fight when no one has done you harm. A wise father's advice. So I highlighted number 4 for the whole chapter. See, we're already 11 minutes. I'm only in chapter 4 because I'm already reading too much. But on the side, I wrote, I think God's image or personality has been corrupted by no fault of ours. And wisdom, love, God in its purest form within us has to be able to see the truth. Most of us are followers by nature. The leaders, teachers must act according to the innate wisdom of God, I think. Oh my goodness. Chapter 2 describes you in my wisdom, be meditation and seeking, and by seeking. Wisdom is then implanted in us by God. This is my notes. Wisdom is then implanted in us by God. We then need to trust the wisdom He's given us. 132, I am no complacent fool. 133, listen to him, not man. 418, we all know those people who feel different in their presence, some even through technology or paper. Joel Osteen, Wayne Dyer, Dalai Lama. The way of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn, which shines ever brighter into the full of light. And that's when I put that. That verse 18, chapter 4, reminds me of those people that you feel that difference, when you're in their presence. And like I put in, sometimes through technology or paper. When I listen to Joel Osteen, or I read Wayne Dyer, or I read the Dalai Lama, I feel that gleam of dawn. I feel that shine ever brightness of the daylight. It's just listen carefully to my words. Don't let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them. We must find them, seek them through the rubble. I wrote that note on the side. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. And I always say, keep your guard up. You got to have an open heart, yet guard your heart. Open soul, guard your soul. Go to church, go to synagogue, go to temple, go, to a master class, go to all these places, but stand guard. None of them are 100% right. None of them. None. Zero. Zip. Not the Bible, not the Quran, not the Vedas, not the Gita, not the Tao Te Ching. None of it is 100% correct. They all have presence. They all have beauty. They all have wisdom. Maybe some more than others. I don't know. I don't care. I've gotten wisdom from all of them. I've gotten beauty from all of them. I've gotten holiness from all of them. But all of them are not right. Every single one of them is not 100% right, I think. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. That tells me be in the present. I'm a big picture guy. Like, I look at everything, but I've learned through life to be present with what I am doing right now. I got a big old truck right in front of my house. I've been moving for the one day, really. The day before yesterday, I packed everything. Yesterday, I painted and cleaned and spackled and do all that crazy stuff. When my child is in front of me, I'm 100% with my child. Whenever I'm moving, I'm 100% moving. When I'm painting, I'm 100% painting. You know, right now, I'm 100% studying the Bible. You know, I went to Starbucks so I could be 100% reading the Bible, you know, because I was sitting on the floor and it was just not, I wasn't 100% focused, you know, having to hold the Bible because I'm old. But be present. I think that, you know, fix your eyes on what lies before you. It's be present. Be 100% where you're at right now. You know, ain't nothing worse, and I'm guilty of this, of, you know, reading and thinking of what's going on in my relationship, or thinking what's going on in work, or thinking of what I gotta go do, or I've wrote to-do list on my Bible. I wrote little note on the side of something that I gotta get done I just remembered, and I looked through the page like nothing that I just read reminded me of that. Hence, I wasn't fixed on what was in front of me. Take a lesson from the ants. Don't be lazy. I wrote a note on the side. Not being able to agree with being scared or fear of God. After some research, I see, oh yeah. So not being able to agree with being scared. You know, there's a lot of wording in the Bible of fear of God, fear of God, fear of God. So because I let it bother me enough, I did some more research. I wanted to see what the Hebrew word, because I found some things through here, some scarier than others. Like there's one about the shine of Moses' face whenever he came out, because I'm like, could that been radiation? Shine. And not meaning to, I found that word yaris or sharis. The Hebrew word is one of those words like break, that you only in context could it be this or it could be this. And Yira, Yira is what it sounded like. No, that was this one. That was fear. Anyways, it just had sometimes you just got to do the research. So after some research, I see the word fear, or yira, here it is, in Hebrew can also be translated as awe, reverence, or respect. I can live with that. You know, fear of God, awe of God, reverence for God, respect for God. I can live with that. I wish they would have wrote that and not fear of God, because most people that read fear don't read awe, don't connect it to having awe, to having respect. You know, my children, I don't want my children to fear me. I want my children to respect me. And if they are in awe of me, oh my God, that's amazing. And if they have reverence for me, man, I feel humbled. Fear matches none of those. But if I read having fear for God as awe, respect, and reverence, I'm good with that. 20 minutes. I'm in chapter 6. I gotta speed it up. Hands that kill the innocent. Can a man scoop a flame with his lap and not have his cloth catch on fire? Love wisdom like a sister. Make insight a beloved member of your family. Listen as wisdom calls out. And then that one, make wisdom like a sister. Love wisdom like a sister. Make insight a beloved member of your family. That to me tells me, that's an everyday thing. Wisdom is not something that you go and take a class for. You can, but it's not something that you take a semester in college and that's it, or even 4 years in college and that's it, or every Sunday and that's it. You know, it's make insight a beloved member of your family. That's something every day. Get to know it, love it. Study it. Embrace it. Honor it. It's and again, that's why I say that's another word for God. Wisdom, love, God. I mean, to me, it's synonym, synonym, not synonym, not synonym. The same. Listen as wisdom calls out. Hear as understanding raises her voice. By the gates at the entrance to the town. Listen to me. I detest every kind of deception. My words are plain to anyone who with understanding, clear to those with knowledge. I put over here, filter everything through the gate of understanding and wisdom. And some of it, I highlighted like half of chapter 8. Wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. Common sense and success belongs to me. Insight and strength are mine. I love all who love me. Those who search will surely find me. The Lord formed me from the beginning, before he created anything else. I love that. Wisdom was before everything else. I feel like there's a lot of gap up there, even though you don't need to see everything else. I was appointed in ages past, at the very first, before the earth began. I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their water, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he had made the earth and fields and the first handfuls of soil. I mean, to me, this tells me, and this goes into a whole nother thing that I've gotten while reading the Bible, but, there is something before earth was. There's a lot before earth was. There's a lot before we were. There is something about why we don't live as long as, our ancestors did. There is something about the whole, God not being present in the way that he was in the past. There is many things that point towards there was something here and there's something here before us, before earth. And this just kind of reinforces the fact that this is not just a human thing. This is not just a us thing. Wisdom it's like God, it's before everything. Leave your simple ways behind and begin to live. I mean, there's just so many things. Lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. Anyone who corrects the wicked will get hurt. Oh, no, that's not what I was looking for. Anyone who rebukes the mocker will get insulted. But correct the wise and they will love you. Instruct the wise and they will be wiser. Teach the righteous and they will learn even more. To me, my greatest teacher professionally is a guy that used to critique the heck out of me. And I hated it at the time. And boy, do I wish that I worked for him more than the decade plus that I worked for him. Because that's who I learned the most from. The words of the godly are a life-giving fountain. Wise words come from the lips of people with understanding. Wise people treasure knowledge. The earnings of the godly enhance their lives. People who accept discipline are on the path to life. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. That one's a hard one for me. I can't keep my mouth shut. But sometimes I gotta remember. And then when I do, people think something's wrong. So maybe that's one of the things that I'll reinvent. I think it's hard because anytime that I meet like a new crew, new people, I spend a lot of time painting a picture of who I am. And I feel the need that they need to know me. And I don't think that's probably good. You know, I just don't think that the game of letting them know me, like the whole surprise of surprise and delight, it's not me. You know, like I want to paint a picture. I don't want to waste time. I want them to see who I am, and then we start a relationship from here. You know, that way you know everything that I am, everything I expect. You know, because I wish that everybody else came with a manual. You know, give me the Cornell notes. Give me the one sheeter about you, and then I will know how to treat you, how to deal with you, what sparks what's your interest. I just feel like it's easier for a relationship to start. I mean, talk about honesty. You start straight out, you know. Um, so because I would like that, I give that, you know, and then I start asking those questions. I start prodding because I want to know what drives a person, what's a person's background, what's a person's habits, what's a person's state of mind, what's a person's, um, goals, everything that I give out. But maybe I gotta be quieter, maybe I'm just making excuses for the fact that I don't keep my mouth shut. Um, The words of the godly are like sterling silver. The words of the godly encourage many, but fools are destroyed by their lack of common sense. The hope of the godly results in happiness. The godly will never be disturbed. The mouth of the godly person gives a wise advice. The lips of the godly speak helpful words. I mean, this is just so amazing. Look for greatness in people. I wrote that on the side. If you search for good, you will find favor. But if you search for evil, it will find you. Upright citizens are good for the city and make it prosper. Without wise leaderships, a nation will fail. And that one, it says a lot, but I don't highlight all that. Your kindness will reward you. Godly people find life. I highlighted that one in a whole different color. To learn, you must love discipline. I love that one. The godly have deep roots. The worthy wife is a crown for her husband. I think it's the last chapter speaks a lot about um, a great wife, and I highlighted pretty much the whole chapter. A hard worker, because it reminded me of my wife. A hard worker has plenty of food. A fool is quick tempered. Oh my goodness, I got some notes with arrows. I was worried. 13:12, 11, 12:11. Don't choose fantasies and work hard, but do what? 12:11. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies has no sense. So that one worried me, and I was worried. A person who chases fantasies, because I feel like you got to chase your dreams. And then it put 13, then defer your hopes, 13:12. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. So that one told me, that, oh, that's the tree of life right there. In 13:18, if you ignore criticism, you will end in poverty and disgrace. If you accept correction, you must not. That's a whole different one. It's pleasant to see dreams come true. Yeah, hope deferment makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. So over here it said, a person who chases fantasies has no sense. So to me, it was like, oh man, we shouldn't chase our dreams, but then it reiterates that the dreams are. Okay. Diligent make use of everything they find. Wise people think before they act. The life of a godly is full of light and joy. If you ignore criticism, you will end up in poverty. It is pleasant to see dreams come true. Oh, it was 18, 13, 19. That's why I was confused. Not 13, 18. So that's, one verse threw me off, 3 verses corrected right in the next chapter. That's why you got to study the Bible and not go piece to piece. Because had I, only studied, all right, let me see, and let me just study, let me study. A person who chases fantasies has no sense. And I can read into that so much that it will tell me focus on, factual things. Don't focus on dreams. Don't be thinking of fantasies. And I could do a whole study on that and teach a bunch of people that, but, without reading a dream fulfilled as a tree of life, it is pleasant to see dreams come true, then I would have just lost all of that, and been teaching the wrong thing. Could it be right? Yeah, sure, it could be right because it was written there, but so is statistics. You could take statistics and say why an apple is super healthy for you, use the statistics and not be lying. In the same token, you could say why statistically why an apple is so unhealthy for you and use a certain statistic to prove that and not be lying. You're obviously lying somewhere. You're deceiving. 33 minutes. I'm halfway there. I'm going to make it quick. Those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children care enough to discipline them. Without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. I love that. That says a lot. I put in the work, take the risk. Easy isn't always best. A ship in port isn't doing much. And that's what I got from that one. Fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledges and seeks reconciliation. Oh yeah, I put quick to ask for forgiveness on that one. The prudent carefully consider their steps. Prudent eyes on the prize. I put dime con quien andas. 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. And I put dime con quien andas. Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. And 13:20 kind of say that, walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is a traitor. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. So over here I put next to that one, a teacher should inspire to have subjects to build up into wise teachers. I put that note for a growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. People with understanding control their anger. So I believe that, if you're wise and you just have all this knowledge but don't share it and don't teach others to teach it, then it's like the prince without subjects. He has nothing. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. The lips of the wise give good advice. The Lord loves those who pursue godliness. Mockers hate to be corrected. A wise person is hungry for knowledge. For the happy heart, life is a continual feast. A bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than a steak with someone you hate. Sensible children bring joy to their father. A path of life leads upward for the wiser. He delights in pure words. The heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking. He hears the prayers of the righteous. A cheerful look brings joy to the heart. Good news makes for good health. If you listen to constructive criticism, you will be at home among the wise. And that one is a recurring theme throughout here, where if you correct somebody, generally it causes heartache. But if you correct the wise, if you instruct the wise, if you help the wise with constructive criticism, the wise will take it in. And again, to me, it hasn't always been fun to take constructive criticism. And generally, to this day, and maybe I've changed, I don't know, but as far as I remember, I don't enjoy constructive criticism at the time. And I generally don't take it very well at the time. I don't believe it. Oh, believe. I think I wrote a note from yesterday's meditation. I meditated right before I fell asleep, and I had to wake up again and open my eyes, and I wrote. I don't think it had anything to do with what I read. Could have, but unbelief. But I had to, the correctness helped me. The criticism helped me tremendously. But like my brother said, some things are taken like wine, and I had to take it in like wine every time. Criticism. Generally it takes me a few days, at least a day, or at least a long drive, before I take it in and I reflect upon it and I realize that if they weren't completely right, there was some level of right there. Definitely enough for me to grow from. And sometimes they're completely right. I'm just completely wrong. And that's a hard pill to swallow. We make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer. And that's another recurring theme where it says, make all the plans you like, but God's purpose is going to prevail. That's in a different one. This one says basically the same thing. Better to have a little with godliness than to be rich with dishonesty. Again, a recurring theme. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. So that one says the same, and I try not to highlight the recurring themes. I try to highlight them one time, just so I don't repeat myself, but it just happens to repeat itself. From a wise man comes wise speech. The words of the wise are persuasive. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained by living a godly life. We may throw the dice, but the Lord determines how they fall. And same recurring theme. Better a dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with feasting and conflict. And I don't highlight that one. I try not to highlight. I won't say I didn't, just in case it pops up. But that's a recurring theme with the wife. You know, the grieving. And I have a note that I'll read when I get there. You know, a nagging wife, a nagging wife, a nagging wife. That's a recurring theme. Love prospers when a fault is forgiven. It is safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a fool caught in foolishness. And I put true next to that. A brother is born to help in time of need. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom. A truly wise person uses few words. Wise words are like deep water. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. A lazy person is as bad as someone who destroys things. The human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? Intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. And then I put haughtiness equals arrogance. I guess it's because I didn't really know what haughtiness was. So I try to see what it meant, and I put arrogance. So arrogance goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. That makes sense. I question how wise I am. 1727. That was my note. I question how wise I am. So 1727. A truly wise person uses few words. That's why I question how wise I am, because I don't use few words. So maybe I have, when it comes to that aspect, maybe I have a lot to learn. And I'm sure I have a lot to learn, but positive and negative consequences. That's a note that I wrote on the side. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. Wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. So that's where I put positive and negative consequences. You know, if you speak rightly, you're gonna get those, you know, that good karma. You're gonna help somebody. You're gonna, you know, make a situation better. You're gonna leave a place better than it was. But speak negative, and you're gonna get the opposite. Hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. You can make any plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. If you correct the wise, they will be all wiser. There we go again. Those led astray by drink cannot be wise. Many will say they are loyal friends, but who can find one who is truly reliable? If you love sleep, you will end in poverty. Keep your eyes open, and there will be plenty to eat. And that's another one. Oh, so this is what I came from in my meditation yesterday, and I think it has a lot to do with my video on faith. I don't neglect it, I don't reject it, but whenever I bring something afloat, it lingers for a while. It lets me regurgitate it, digest it, taste it. And in my meditation, I got faith is believing, right? In my video, I think I put faith, hope was a lot more than believing. But this time I'm also believing, and in the video I said believing. But to believe, I put faith, believing, believe, live, manifest, have faith, believe it, believe equals be alive in it. And that was my breakthrough. Be alive in it. So when as an adult, I've heard of manifesting a million times. I've studied it. There's a lot of famous people that have manifested their lives. There's a lot of monks that manifested, and they all teach you one key thing, from comedians to actors to movie stars to successful to monks to teachers, is you have to be there. You have to live it. You have to feel it. You got to smell it. You got to taste it. If you want to manifest that BMW, you got to feel like you're driving it. You got to smell the inside of that car. You got to feel the engine of that car underneath you. You got to feel how the chair hugs you. You got to feel what that steering wheel. You got to feel it. And so I started thinking faith, you know, can be more than hope. I don't believe in the blind faith. I don't believe in believing something that you can't see, you can't, it's not, I don't believe in blind faith. But faith, in what I do believe faith is supposed to be, it's belief. Belief in a manifesting way. Be alive in it. Believe. Be alive in it. So if I believe in God, I gotta assess what God is, who God is. God is wisdom. God is love. God is all encompassing. God is compassion. God is everything good in this world. God is everything perfect in this world. God is all powerful. God doesn't have chains. God is not, in a box, in a book, in one mind, in a teacher. God is everything. So that's what everything is. Now I have to have faith that God is in me. So I gotta believe God is in me. And how do I manifest it? I gotta be alive in it. Be alive in it. Gotta see myself in God. Gotta see God in me. Gotta taste the goodness of God. I gotta see through the eyes of God. I gotta be alive in it. Believe. Be alive in it. I should write a blog on that. I should write a chapter for the book. It's almost done. I got 3 covers for that book. I'm still not 100% satisfied. I may have to get another one. Be alive in it. That's how you believe. That's truly believing. That's true faith. That's how you manifest. You want to manifest the best life, a godly life, something that I struggle with. I could walk without sin. I could walk around and do good. I can make sure that I don't commit adultery. I can make sure that I don't do wrong things. But you know what? I still think wrong things. I still lust. Not like I did before, not like a 20-year-old for sure, but I don't always think rightfully. Sometimes I'm mad that I think not great, being the person that I am, practicing the way that I practice life. My thought I've conditioned my thoughts to be, a beautiful thing compared to how they were, but they're not great. They're not perfect. And I don't want to attain perfection. I don't think you can attain perfection, but I want to attain, I think I could manifest my thoughts being as clean as possible, as pure as possible. And in order to manifest that, I gotta live in it. I gotta believe. I gotta have faith that I can. I gotta be alive in it. Believe it. Be alive in it. It's a good one. Never heard that one before. Be be alive in it. Faith, believe, thank. So I'm almost at the end. The borrower is servant to the lender. That's Dave Ramsey mentions that a lot. I think there's another one I highlight. Don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise the wisest words or wisest advice. And that's when I don't feel it. And I've learned not to obligate that, and that's my fear about speaking. And I gotta get over that. Because how many people could I bless if I speak like that? And how many opportunities could that bring? And if I fail and I can't do it the way that I want to do it, then at least I'll know and I won't have regrets. And regret something I don't want to live with. I'd rather fail than have regret. And I'd rather help as many people as I can. Don't fail to discipline your children. My child, listen to the wise. Keep your heart on the right course. Do not carouse with drunk words or feast with gluttons, for they are on their way to poverty. Too much sleep. If you fail under pressure, your strength is too small. You see, that's why I don't want to regret. If you fail under pressure, your strength is too small. 24:10. Wisdom is sweet to the soul. If you find it, you will have a bright future, and your hopes will not be cut short. The godly may trip 7 times. Again, 7. Nice. But they will get up again. Don't rejoice when your enemy falls. Don't be happy when they stumble. I'm real big on that. A little extra sleep, a little extra slumber, a little folding of hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Folding of hands. That's Dave Ramsey mentions that, quotes that too. Putting confidence in the reliable person in times of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth or walking on a lame foot. That's so true. Sometimes we know that they are not a reliable person, and we put confidence in them, and it's like chewing with a broken tooth, like we know better, and it's going to be painful. If your enemies are hungry, give them food to eat. If they're thirsty, give them water to drink. A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. So important. 25:28. A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. Man, this one has taken me a long time to learn, but it's so true. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth. A stranger, not your own lips. You see, I put reference check. That was a note for work. I was in focus. But that one, again, that's the whole don't be impressed by your wisdom. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth. A stranger, not your own lips. Because sometimes we boast on the levels that we have reached, the places that we have arrived. And, that's probably not good. 3 times thus far. So this is where I put my little, smeared. I read this in many places, but finally, the 3rd or 4th time, I had to highlight it. A quarrelsome wife is as annoying as constant dripping on a rainy day. Stopping her complaint is like trying to stop the wind or trying to hold something with greased hands. So this has been going on for thousands of years. That was my note. And then I put, but are wives aggravated with men but is it all that complaining It doesn't put anything on the man. It mentions this whole wife thing about her nagging and constant annoying several times. But I put my note. But are wives aggravated with men because we've promised them everything, especially love and respect and loyalty, and we've lied to them for years and sometimes decades of broken promises? Because if that's the case, then let's talk about that. Let's quit blaming the woman for, being so annoying and nagging. It was probably a man that wrote this, so he didn't want to take responsibility for his actions. Maybe. As iron sharpens iron. I think that's what I have on this book, on the cover of this book, because that's one of my favorite. Oh no, that's on my shirt. That's one of my favorite quotes. Iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Workers who protect their employer's interests will be rewarded. Know the state of your flock, then put your heart into caring for your herds. And that's why I believe that we need to be men and women of family values. Hence, we're moving to Kentucky. Why? 99% reason, my father-in-law. Because I know the state of my flock. And I'm going to put my heart into caring for my flock. People who conceal their sins will not prosper. If they confess and turn from them, they will receive mercy. Be honest, especially with your relationships. In the end, people appreciate honest criticism far more than flattery. And that's an ongoing one. Fools vent their anger, but the wise quietly hold it back. So this one, I'm sure that there's a lot of probably controversy with that verse right there, because a lot of people is like, oh, don't hold it, you got to talk about it, you got to let it go, find help, this, that, the other. But I believe that fools vent their anger, and if they did it only one time and they were over it, but no, they do it all over. um, the wise hold it back. Maybe they just deal with it, or let it steep and work it out, or maybe go for a run or pray or meditate or something. To discipline a child produces wisdom, but a mother is disgraced by an undisciplined child. Discipline your child and they will give you peace of mind and will make your heart glad. A servant pampered from childhood will become a rebel. That's the spoiled brat. I didn't even know that was in the Bible. Hyrixis. I highlighted it, or I circled it so I could look it up. I haven't. It says they are powerful, but they make their homes among the rocks. But this one, locust. They have no king, but they march in formation. I love that. Like, you don't have to have a ruler in order to have order. You know? Stirring up anger causes quarrels, and that's sometimes we poke the bear, right? And we shouldn't do that. Last chapter, and I put my wife's name, Deanna, next to this one. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all of the days of her life. And I'm skipping through just on my highlighted places. She is strong and a hard worker. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread. Her fingers twisting fibers. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. She gives instruction with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. That's just beautiful, and that is my wife right there. And that is 1 hour, the end of Proverbs, my favorite book of the Bible. I could have made this a 3-hour video, but that is the synopsis, that is the summary. And I think there were so many lessons in there, so many highlights. With one obvious breakthrough was believe, faith, hope, manifest, be alive in it. You know, if I am alive in Proverbs, I am going to be wise. You know, if I want to manifest wisdom within me, and hopefully I already have it, but if I want to manifest more, if I want to grow in my wisdom, then I got to be alive in it. If I'm alive in those words, if I follow that advice and I smell it, I taste them, I walk through it, I feel it, I think them, then I could be wise, you know. And it's not to boast, and it's not to say that I'm wise. It's because wise people walk a path that is better than not wise people, than non-wise people. Wise people are than fools. Wise people help others. Wise people could help a multitude. You know, I don't know many wise people, you know, and some of the wisest people I know are authors, you know, are speakers, you know, and they help multitude of people. And if I could just, man, just barely touch that, I'll be amazed and awesome. I'm going to be alive in it.